And
All right.
we are live.
Welcome to Quick Reviews. I am Jim Jam Flim Flam, and this is my co-host, Schmiegeldorf.
Sure, I mean, our names are there, so...
Oh, come on! Why ruin the magic? We're going to be
Actually, I
reviewing...
guess our names aren't there. It's still our usernames. I don't know. Whatever.
we're going to be reviewing a short track with a short name.
A very short name. Maybe the shortest name I've seen. Maybe is a tie.
No.
Wait, was
Bing's...
it? What?
Bing had a series of like mini tracks that were
Those
all
were
just
not
like...
tracks. Those were memes.
I feel like they technically qualify.
No, but I just thought of Crown would release a track called Y with just the letter Y.
Oh,
This
that's
is all
fair.
Y. So that wins. But this is like, tie for second or whatever.
Okay. Anyway, this is Yo, a rather unconventional track by Helios Pavonine.
Let's jump
You ready?
in.
Yeah.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I just love
Colors.
I love this editing, just the zoom into the Yo as the rainbow begins. It's very simple, like conveys the message
It's
that this track has,
very
which is
vaporwave.
Yo.
All right, here we go. Alt quirk.
Yeah, the track starts out as like very, I would say,
Alt
like
quirk.
it's all quirk, but like compared to like other alt quirk, it's pretty lackadaisical. Like you see the stuff in Assault,
Yeah.
just like trying to be like
Is that alt
boom,
quirk?
boom, boom
I
in your
suppose
face.
it is. This is
I mean-
it's I don't know. It's somewhat relaxed.
Yeah,
As far as, here we go.
we're using the bass. Oh, and then it zooms out into this stuff, which I like a lot.
I love the contrast between like the tight stuff and then we zoom out.
Yes, and it works with the music too.
Favorite
I
part?
like this.
Ah, so cool. And then that humorous ending.
And it just follows him through.
I am like not entirely convinced that it actually came back to the spot, but maybe it did. Well, it must have. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? Did he release the SOL? I don't think he did. Or the TRK, I guess it would be.
I don't think he did.
No, he didn't.
We'll look at it quarter speed.
Oh yeah, let's watch it at quarter speed.
I'm just gonna hit back to the beginning, and we can talk about our thoughts as the Yo slowly zooms in.
Oh, okay. Ready for a countdown?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
I like what this is going for. Just sort of a small little track with a few simple ideas. I am a fan, as you know, of the idea of short, sketchy tracks that like
Yeah.
have just a couple ideas, a couple things to say, and that's all they need to do. It didn't have to be some massive project. It was just one of those things. It's like, I'm self-contained. I got my own little idea.
Yeah.
And for that, I appreciate it.
I'm not entirely sure what the idea was. It's like, I'm going to do some alt quirk. It probably started out as an alt quirk, and then it was like, we'll do this. I mean, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. I mean, idea is stretching it. It's just like one way of dicking around and then another way of dicking around.
Yeah,
but
pretty much. But it's fun. The contrast is really cool.
Yeah, and they were like, it was a good contrast.
Yeah.
Whether intentional or not, the placement was awesome.
I'm sure that it was intentional. Like the switch was like, I'm gonna do a switch. He wasn't just like, whoops, accidentally did a whole bunch of manuals. I'm sure it was intentional, but I'm sure that the alt quirk contrast was not planned from the start. I'm sure it was like messing around with some alt quirk, and then was like, let's. I mean, maybe he had listened to the song and was like, let's do a thing where it's 2 sections, but maybe he just decided to do something else and then picked a song that fit. I don't know. Well, I guess I don't know how. Were you paying attention how well it was synced, or how much it lined up?
It's definitely very synced on like the
split between the 2 sections.
that part less so, but like
Yeah, see,
the opening is
that's what I'm
very
thinking.
like it works with the hits. It'll be like bing, ba bam, ba bam. Like it feels like the
Really?
track. Yeah, it feels like the track and the song sort of had the same BPM, and then it moved
Yeah,
into
but
the.
that could have. No, what I'm saying is that could have been retroactively applied.
Oh, certainly. Do we have to apply death of the author when we're talking about render tracks?
I don't know. I think that nowadays when it's possible to sync to something um, from the get go, it's oftentimes like I don't know. I've seen so much syncing where it was like half up, like the song was decided like well into the track that
Mhm.
it's like it's at this point there's so much of it that it's just like laziness because that's kind of what everyone's doing. And it's
Yeah,
also easier to do it that way, you know, just dink around for a bit and then be like, what song fits with this?
I've got a vision now.
Yeah, exactly.
uh, that's how a lot of tracks start, and it definitely shows. Like, there's no like, I have a plan for this track from the start. When you see something like, I would say,
Yeah.
uh, I would say
Intro by
scene
Ryder.
tracks have to feel planned to be good.
No, scene tracks can be very retroactive because you can change the scenery at any time. One that I'm thinking about is Intro by Ryder. You can tell that that was synced
Yeah.
from the start. Like, it wasn't like, I'm just going to make some random lines and then decide on a song. You know, it was like very clearly synced from the start.
Mhm.
And it shows. And that track was really successful, I think, in part because of that, because it was so clear that it was synced.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, this track is pretty clearly not the same thing. But
I don't think it has to be though.
it certainly doesn't have to be. It's just it's so widely prevalent that at this point it's not a plus.
This is the best part though.
Yeah, the animated yo is pretty cool. Like I loved how the airtime and then the yo and then like the off sled. I think that's my favorite part of the track easily is the ending, that ending that we just watched.
Yes.
Just because it's like I don't know, it's like there's dead space and then there's like unconventional choices.
Dead space
and it works and it's really enjoyable because you don't see it. So that for me that was like the moment where I was like, oh, I like this track was the very end when it did that. It was like the beginning I was like meh, and then when it went high speed I was like, oh cool, I can dig it, and then it was like the ending was like, yeah, like it.
Yeah, the ending I think is what sold me.
Yeah.
The whole like
it's like that part you can tell it was very intentional exactly what he was doing, and the
Yes.
choices were really good too. Like the off sled ending is fun and unexpected. The animated yo is fun and unexpected. Did Bosch
he also
disappear?
disappears right here.
Huh. And the airtime, like the song just like stopping and then flying, and then like the that's the end of the song. It's like it's unexpected and funny and engaging, you know.
Yeah.
You want to watch it again at normal speed?
Yeah, why not?
We'll talk about it one more time because I want to like pay more attention to the music syncing and make sure my analysis is right here. Ready?
Alrighty. Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
The yo never gets old. Some window movie maker ass editing. Rainbow. And here we go.
Do you have anything to say? I've done a lot of talking.
This actually feels intentional. Like a lot of the pops are very much on the and it like follows a rhythm. I think
yeah, you know what? I really can't tell. Watching it again, it's like it fits well enough that I could really go either way.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think it was actually synced from the beginning. I think it was actually, because I just noticed there was like a distinctive shift there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Our analysis was wrong, except I think what our misguided analysis was, what it did illuminate is that like we couldn't tell that it was planned from the start,
syncing,
and I think that is significant.
I feel like syncing needs to either be more obvious to the point where it's the point that the track has, or just not present, just fitting the vibe. When it's synced like imprecisely, I just feel like
it was synced precisely though.
Yeah.
I mean, watching it, it's like, oh, this is synced precisely. I think the thing that made us think that it wasn't synced precisely is that the things Bosch does on, like, something happens in the music, and what Bosch does lines up with what happens in the music, but doesn't necessarily relate. Like, if the music does the same thing 4 times in a row, Bosch is not going to do the same thing 4 times in a row. You know, he's doing different things every time.
It's different motion.
So Bosch's motions are much more chaotic than the music, if you know what I mean. And that, it's like, it's not something I can fault Helios for, because like every track does that, where the movement of Bosch is way more chaotic than the music. But that's probably what made us think that it wasn't precisely synced, because Bosch is sort of moving all over the place. And when we look closely, we're like, oh, it does actually line up, but we wouldn't have known it if we hadn't examined it, you know?
All right. I mean, I'm about to soapbox.
Go ahead. I want to say one thing is I'm watching it on slow-mo right now, and if I'm watching it without music, I have no idea what the music is doing. You know, and I think that's kind of the point. It's like the music could be anything. It could be freaking drum and bass. I mean, it's and when you watch it with the music, it's like, oh, it kind of fits. Like it doesn't kind of fit. It does. It, like, you know, from a literal perspective, it does line up. But I don't know. Go ahead, soapbox.
Okay, so my soapbox here is, I think there is untapped power in repetition.
Oh, yeah.
I think that repetition conveys a kind of control that you normally don't see. Yeah. Like, there's certainly control in, like, I can get this well to affect Bosch in a certain way, but can you control it so that it's the same situation 4 times in a row? And I'm not just talking with simple things like flat sled or manuals, where it's like, I can make this manual happen and this manual happen. But this would have such, like, a more, I would say, interesting and cohesive feel to it if there were little sections that were like phrases in music that were, like, repeated, you know?
Yeah.
And it could be the same level of complexity that it is right there. But I
would say that, I mean, you wouldn't have to, like, literally repeat the same exact thing over and over and over. Right. I mean, some people might argue that that's just recycling. But I would say that you wouldn't have to literally make the same thing repeat over and over, but just be intentional about what you're changing every repetition. And think about, like, you know, maybe you change one thing every time this repeats, and so then it's slightly different every time, but then it's not, like, just chaos every time. It's not like I do something that vaguely lines up with the music. It's like I'm, you know, I don't know.
I think one of the things that Conundrumer likes to point out is that there needs to be a little more emphasis sometimes on paying attention to the structure of your track.
Yeah.
Rather than necessarily the motion. So much attention is paid to the motion, to the power, to the speed, to the positioning, and less to the visual structure of the track as a whole.
Not necessarily as a whole. I would say just like as Bosch is interacting with it, like what is on the screen. Like this, well, you're not watching it quarter speed. I was watching the quarter speed. We just got to the zoom in. It's like, that's like a very clear visual design, and that's why I like it a lot. whereas the alt quirk is not, and that's because it's alt quirk. It looks like alt quirk, you know. But it's just it makes it less interesting. I don't know.
I think it's less in what you do and more in how you do it. I think it would be possible to make an interesting alt quirk section with paying attention to how you structure it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's harder.
Alt quirk is very chaos, and it has been since like Strange Quark. Like Strange Quark was just like, we're gonna make a quirk, but make it more chaotic and less, and more chaotic and more recycling and more dense and longer lines. And they're.
I think that worked to Strange Quark's favor though. Like the song Bind Dump that he used for that.
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe that's why Strange Quark was such a good alt quirk, is that it lined up super well, because you know the music is super chaotic and so is
Infinite Improbability.
Infinite Improbability was Saint something by Aphex
It
Twin.
was Mount St. Michael,
St.
Michelle's Mount. Yeah, by Aphex Twin.
Aphex Twin. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're just philosophizing on alt quirk now. I think we're pretty much done talking about the track.
Yeah, but again, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
I think
just
my
more attention to like little structural things, little interactions.
Yeah,
that's what I'd go for if I was Helios and I was like, I want to make something that is I don't know. When we have these reviews, we're inherently saying make things that we like more. But
that's just the nature of a review. Yeah. Reviewers are always going to try to make you make more of what they like. So.
Yeah. Anyway,
no one's forcing you to watch any kind of review of anything. So
my point is, if you want to appeal to us,
no one listens to us. We're fringe.
Here's what you do.
We're done. We're done here. Okay. I'm ending this.
You get the idea. Pay attention to structure before it cuts me off. Yes, structure. Bye.
Build the Empire State Building. Bye.